All right, the next one that's super important, and again, in no particular order, is fully supporting each other. Right? That is something that we have found that is like vital to our healthy, supportive relationship. And again, our stuff is not your stuff, but these are just really powerful things to take note of and really to get you to start thinking like what really matters to you. And does having someone who really supports you matter to you? Because if it does, you can know that, be aware of that, communicate that with them. And you know, in past relationships, like I just always felt like I could never be fully me. And I always felt trapped or stuck or suffocated, or like if I, you know, because I love being playful, I love being ridiculous, I love being silly. And when I would show those colors, I would get like made fun of or put down or feeling less than. And it just made me feel so sad and suffocated. But at that same time, I felt kind of like trapped, because I'm like, well, I'm in this relationship and he's a good guy and I love him. And you know, but then it's like the unfolding of all the stuff, right? If you're continually feeling like you are not supported to be your full self, man, you're asking for a lot of like struggle and conflict and suffering, right? At the end of the day, it's the awareness that like it is your choice. Like, are you choosing to stay stuck, or are you choosing to learn and move forward and create something more aligned, right? And all of these things we need to talk about, that like one is not good or bad. Like there really is not this whole thing of like, oh, well, I'm better than him because I like this and he doesn't, right? Because like I like to be playful and he doesn't. It doesn't make it good or bad. It just isn't aligned. And so it's this constant awareness of like, are we aligned? Is this an alignment, or is it not aligned? And how can we, if it's not aligned, how can we make it more aligned? And so really letting go of this like whole thing of like, I'm better than you, or he's worse than I am, or that's just like, bleh, that will not get you anywhere. And they're all stories, right? But what isn't a story is this alignment of, if I know that I value someone who fully supports me and being fully me, doesn't mean that they have to be the same, right? Like Amelia and I have a lot of differences. We also have similarities, but it's this understanding that like, it is so important to both of us to feel fully supported, to be fully ourselves. And when we finally felt that and found that in each other, it was honestly one of the most incredible feelings I've ever felt. Like I literally get emotional thinking about it, because especially when you understand the contrast. And I think also to be grateful for the contrast. Like I am so freaking grateful I went through all the relationships, I went through all the heartbreak, all the unhealthy toxic relationships, because if I wouldn't have gone through the contrast, I would never be able to appreciate what I have now the way that I do. And that deep appreciation is, I think, vital to how healthy and supportive and beautiful the relationship is.
I think the pain and suffering is needed. It's so huge. I don't know if I'm saying needed, but there's intelligence in the pain and suffering that you've experienced and that you may be experiencing right now. Because of the contrast, it's just, we don't believe that the heart breaks. We believe that the heart expands. And because of all the stuff that we went through, we have a bigger capacity to love each other, to love ourselves, our friends, our family, our strangers, the world around us, to God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. It's so beautiful to have had the contrast. And so we can't reiterate that enough. And I think if you're in a relationship right now that's not supportive and you want to be supportive, instead of saying like, he or she doesn't support me and they need to do a better job, just always look the person in the mirror. Whether or not you are doing the right or wrong thing, and right or wrong, just for lack of better words, but just ask yourself more powerful questions. Just say, how can I support my partner better? Whether you think you're doing a good job or not, like you can always support them more. And what happens is, what you'll find is it's a positive ladder. You start doing this and this and this. When Rachel does that to me, I'm like, man, I'm feeling so much love. Like I want to do more stuff, and then I want to do more, and then she does more stuff, and this is beautiful positive ladder. And if it doesn't, then fantastic. Why? Because then it spurs a conversation that probably needs to be had. And then you talk about it, and if you do it in the ways that we've talked about in other videos, then there's a deeper connection, not a separation, right? We want to be going more of like this rather than more like this, right? And so find the ways that you can deeper connect. And sometimes it's hard to have the conversations, But if you set the stage, if you hold space, if you practice maybe some of the things we've talked about, it'll be a lot smoother. It'll be a lot easier to get there. And then you'll connect better, you respect each other better, and then you'll start to really fully support each other, and it'll be a two-way street.